Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mack with your daily comedy news. My guest today is Emily Catalano. Her debut album is out. It is called Hey, and we'll find out why it's called that. That album out on Blonde Medicine. You can also get it in limited edition vinyl with a gorgeous matte finish. Here's my conversation with Emily. Is it weird to put everything down as a recording by letting that material behind?
It is. It's a strange feeling because you're saying goodbye to it, but it also feels really good to get rid of it at the same time.
Interesting phrasing in getting rid of it, or you've been doing it for
It's been
years?
a long time, so it's like sometimes it's nice to go back to it, but like at the same time, like you don't like the part of what's fun about comedy is like the brand new stuff and like growing as a comedian. So going back to the old stuff is like a little bit of a crutch. So it does feel good to be like, okay, now I'm on to a new chapter.
Did you approach it from the standpoint of, okay, that hour is done, I'm putting it to bed, or have you been trying out 5-10 minute chunks along the way so you have a new set?
Yeah, I'm figuring it out along the way. I'm not really sure because a lot of this stuff from the album I've already posted as clips on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. So a lot of it was like I stopped doing anyways. But then there was like a new chunk that like I saved for the album that then I recorded as like a video after that. And now I feel like I'm done with that. And now I'm like starting fresh.
I've been talking to a lot of comics who the topic of crowd work keeps coming up. And because of the need to feed the beast, do you find yourself doing, I don't mean this as a dig, but crowd work for crowd work's sake, just so you have something to feed TikTok or whatnot?
A little bit. I've always really enjoyed crowd work before even that was a thing, like on TikTok. Just I think it makes the live experience a little bit better for the people there. But I try not to rely on it. Like I'll do my material and then I'll do a little chunk of crowd work just to make the people who like came to the show feel special. And sometimes that turns into something really funny that I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I post this? This is really funny.
Yeah, good crowd work is great. It's I think I struggle with the setup crowd work of I'm going to just be like, your hat is stupid, just so you can slam me because there's so many fake clips now and maybe I'm too close to it that I can just tell.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like it's really tough when people post something it doesn't go anywhere. But I'm like really particular about what I post. Like I have to be really happy with it if I'm posting it. So I hope that people who follow me understand this is going to be worth your time. This is going to be worth your 30 seconds. It's going to go somewhere.
Are you posting everything yourself? Is there a secret media team of 85 people?
No, just me. I have a background in editing. So I'm like, yeah, I don't really trust that many people to do it for me.
I hear you on that. Talk to me about editing.
I was just always interested in like filmmaking. And so like, I think in high school, I just started like making little like sketches or whatever. And I actually taught myself how to edit before I had a computer or anything. So I just had like my dad's camcorder and a VCR player. And I would like edit that way. Like I would record onto a VHS tape.
So just bringing it down a generation, basically. That's the hard way. I'm ancient. I learned how to a razor blade back in the 80s.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I would have loved that, but I didn't have.
It was fun. You have a razor blade and a grease pencil, and then you got quick enough that you didn't need the grease pencil anymore. You kind of had muscle memory with your thumb on where you grab the tape, you make a slice, let's go for it. But you had to keep track of all the little pieces of tape. You'd take out a chunk and put the tape around your neck. So in case the edit was poor, and you could put the tape back in. And if you lost the piece you'd taken out. Once these computers came in, these kids today, you guys have no idea what it was like to edit back in the day.
I know. It was fun though. I would have loved to try the film stuff, but yeah, all I had was a VHS.
On the crowd work, are you finding people coming trying to be annoying participants in your show? Like, I'm going to go and I'll say something funny so Emily could be even more funny.
I haven't gotten a lot of that. I've gotten more like people are scared. Like they don't want to be the butt of the joke. So if I'm just trying to be nice or just trying to have a conversation, people will be like, I'm not talking to you. And that's really annoying. That's more annoying than someone like trying to get a good clip.
I've heard audiences are increasingly filling up from the back and not taking the first few rows.
Yeah. It's tough.
Are you in LA today?
I am.
How's the scene out there? I'm a little rusty. I don't think I know I haven't done a comedy show in LA since the pandemic. How's the scene?
Yeah.
What are the good rooms?
The good rooms, it took a while to come back from the pandemic. Everything just came back really slowly. So independent shows got wiped out and they're like slowly starting to come back. But all the clubs seem to be back. Like anytime you do a club show, that's good. I've been lucky enough to be able to do shows at Largo, which I don't know if you've ever been there, but yeah, definitely every show I've done there has been great. So it's good. I don't know.
Did you find for yourself doing some research, you had a Conan appearance and then the pesky pandemic came along? Did you feel like it kind of put things on pause, or we're all in this together, so everybody was on pause? What's the difference? Or did you feel like that hit your momentum a little bit?
Oh yeah, I think it definitely took a hit. But I think it came at a time where maybe I was like a little burnt out, where I like needed a break anyways. So it was like a good reminder that, oh, I should rest. I shouldn't be out every night. I don't know, just I should take some time just to be by myself and write. So I think that's what it did for me. And now I love being home and I love writing. And it like really got me into that groove.
I think the entire world liked, in a weird way, the 6 months off of we just all got to stay home and watch Netflix, right? It was just as much as it was horrible, it was cool. Everyone admits 4 years later.
It was great. I was really excited about it, actually. Like, it was scary, but I was also like, oh, I'm so glad that everybody is just stopping. I don't have to keep up with anybody.
Did you resort to Zoom shows?
I did, yeah. I lived with a couple other comics, so we did a monthly or weekly Zoom show together, which was fun because we were all in the same room, or the three of us were. And then we got a pretty good following every week, and it was just something to keep our minds occupied and still writing jokes and interacting with people. Some weeks were like really rough, and we're like, why are we doing this? That was terrible. But then some weeks it was really fun. And we'd do this thing where people could Venmo us and we'd take a shot. If we were like, during our set, someone Venmo'd and then they said, this is for Emily or whatever, then someone would hand me a shot. And we just started doing water by the end because we were like, we can't do this anymore. This was going to kill us. But we made some good money doing that.
As a civilian, I enjoyed the Zoom shows. They were part of their time, and I understand why people don't want to do them, but they were pretty cool. Out here, there was a guy, he had a restaurant, and he started doing cooking classes. So I remember every Thursday at 4:00, you would throw him $100, go to ShopRite, pick up a box, come home, and he would do a live cooking class. But the food was incredible. And then it all of a sudden stopped when the world came back. And I was like, oh, I liked the cooking class.
Yeah.
That stuff was fun.
I know. Yeah. There's definitely some good moments. And I think people really appreciated it, which that helped a lot when people were like, I look forward to this every week. I'm like, oh, okay, at least somebody is enjoying it and we're not doing it for nobody. But yeah, it was tough. When you do comedy in front of a live audience, there's no other feeling in the world. And so to go from that to you don't hear anybody laughing and you sometimes can't even see their faces, like if they're smiling, so you have no feedback whatsoever. So it's really tough to do Zoom shows. And so I'm glad I don't have to do them anymore.
I hadn't really thought of that, right? Because you can't keep the crowd mics on because then you'll have idiots talking in your ears. Oh, wow. Yeah.
We would keep it on, but the way I guess Zoom works is like if you're talking, it's going to mute everybody else. So you really have to like pause and hope that someone laughs so there's not an awkward pause. But yeah, live comedy is just a million times better.
More with Emily after the break. I love your style. I love your writing, a lot of misdirection in it. Who are your influences? I started doing some research and I came across an article that I'm convinced was written by AI. It just had a lot of that AI phrasing. Are your influences Amy Schumer and Louis C.K.?
Oh, interesting. I've never seen that before. Yeah, they were probably, when I started comedy, they were probably the most famous comedians at the time. So I definitely am influenced by other comedians. But yeah, I would say more Sarah Silverman and like Nate Bargatze is Tig Notaro, like people like that.
I could see that in the style and the approach to writing, all great comics there. Your album is called Hey, which I love. Is there a secret meaning behind Hey, or is it just Hey?
That's how I start every set.
Perfect.
I just go up and say, hey. And so it became like a thing, just a fun way to start my set. And for some reason, people laugh when I say, hey. I know if people laugh when I say, hey, it's going to be a good show. But if nobody laughs, then I know I got to put in a little bit more work.
Do you have a chunk that you know works? Will you pull something up from later in the set or go back to some greatest hits type material just to win the room?
Yeah, I have a catalog of greatest hits. And sometimes those don't even work. So you're just kind of like, all right, just got to power through this. But yeah, definitely I'll just go back to stuff that I know works more than other stuff.
As somebody who programs comedy radio stations, I appreciate that you named your tracks. Nate drives me nuts. He doesn't name his tracks. They're all, it is 12 tracks tell a story like the guy went to the bathroom. I wonder if he is mad. And it drives me nuts because I'll be like, oh, I'm looking for a bit about, I don't know, airports. And I have no idea what his material is unless I play it. So thank you for labeling your cuts. How much did you work at that, or are they just things that were in your mind, like this segment is called this, or did you sit there and go, I'm going to name track for this?
No, I'll always bring like a list up with me because I have a really bad memory, so I'll forget the order of my jokes. So I kind of name sections of my material anyways. So it's just, oh yeah, divorced, married, baseball, like just one word things that just jog my memory to let me know where I'm at. So it's pretty easy to just be like, oh, this section is that. But I wanted every joke to be its own track, but you can't really do that with, I think for like radio or whatever, they have to be like at least 2 minutes or something. I had to like group a bunch of jokes together sometimes. And then I just called it like whatever the first joke was or something.
Yeah, I'll tell you the secret behind that. As a programmer, you'd like a 5-minute clip. You can play 12 of them in an hour. So if you start handing in 49-second clips, because they mess up my scheduling. So that 4 or 5 minute thing from the radio person's perspective is the sweet spot. And then you, as the artist, wants the radio station to play it, so you get some of those sweet royalties. So it's my advice to all comedians: if your goal is to get streaming royalties, don't have a 25-second clip. Go for 5 minutes is perfect.
Yeah, that's what the label told me. So I was like, yeah, this is the only point of doing this was to get the radio spins.
When we started back in 2004, the artists or the comedians were like, you're stealing our material. I hate you. And then the royalty checks showed up, and I'll name names. I ran into Ron White in Nashville, and boy, did he shake my hand. Funny how it flipped. And then all of a sudden, every comedian was like, why are you not playing my album? I was like, all right, 6 months ago, you hated us.
Yeah. But yeah, Sirius has been like a game changer. I actually have hope that we can make money as comedians.
Yeah, sure. It's great for awareness. I know a lot of people who bought into it and would come up and do guest spots, and it definitely moved tickets for them. It's anything else. It's awareness.
Yeah.
So your album is also out on vinyl. Talk to me about that. I didn't know that was a thing, and I don't mean that as a Weisenheimer. I know Chappelle would sometimes put things out on vinyl that I cynically think was to make sure it qualified as an album for the Grammys, that it was an actual album, not a Netflix special. But you put this one out on vinyl, which is neat.
Yeah. I just like the idea of vinyl. I have a record player, and it really, like, whenever I put an album on the player, I really just sit there and listen to it. Where if I'm like just listening on my phone or something, I'm like doing other things and not really paying attention. But I like the idea of someone just sitting down and listening to comedy, because it feels maybe more like you're at the show in that way. Also, I just love the vinyl artwork and just having a physical piece of art in your home and like being able to display that or just look at it sometimes. And it just feels more cool than just like a digital thing.
Yeah, everything old is new again. Vinyl is super cool. It's like you said, hey, here's my digital release. We talk about this with the kids at the holidays. There's nothing to give anyone anymore. Hey, in the day, even if it was just a gift for gift's sake, I could give you a video game or a DVD or an album. Now it's here's $10, go on an Apple and buy something. There's no there anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, just to hold something is unique these days. So yeah, and then I can just bring them and give them to people or sell them at shows. Just something to have or sign even. It's always good.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, I had like posters I was doing, but I don't know, posters are cool, but not everybody wants a poster, but everybody can stash away a vinyl, even if they don't have a record player.
They're cool to frame.
Yeah, they are cool. Yeah.
Are you touring right now? I was on your website. I saw one date from memory. I think it's in Seattle. And I just thought it was quirky that there's one date on there and it's only in Seattle, and why Seattle? And I just had a million questions.
Yeah, I'm planning a new tour starting in September, but Seattle is the only one who's put up their tickets yet. So that's why I just put it up there. But yeah, I'll be going out, but I'm just waiting for everybody to post the tickets before I start promoting it. But this will be more like I'm going to just try a bunch of new material tour and try to work on a new hour. And I'll probably, do crowd work too, just to have some fun. But it won't be forced.
I think new material tours are cool. Kevin Hart just did a little one. A similar thing a few years ago, Weird Al went out and it was like deep cuts only. If you want to hear Eat It, do not come. You're just going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
It was for the diehards. I love that kind of show that just is, all right, we're just having fun here tonight.
Yeah, I like it too. It like makes me feel like I'm actually like, working on my craft. But I understand if a tourist is like coming to a comedy club or a show and they don't really know who I am, they probably won't care about it. Or maybe they wouldn't have a good time. But I think for people who know me and know me from my clips and stuff, I think that's would be really cool for them to see the process, see behind the scenes of like how I come up with my stuff.
And different shows, different venues, different days of the week, different time slots, different expectations. Tuesday night, you show up at 10:45 unannounced. A lot different than your name being on the marquee at a theater, right?
Yeah. But I don't know. I think that if people are coming to see me, it's my headlining show. They probably have listened to my album or seen my reels and stuff. I don't know if they want to see those again. So to me, I'm like, I need to just like try new things and work it out with them. But I don't know if other people like that or if I just liked it.
How timely or topical do you like to get? Do you like to dive into particular current events, which I'm not going to get into? Or do you stay away from all that?
I like to stay away from it. I think we get enough of that. And people, that's all the late night talk shows are. So it's going to be done, all the topical stuff. So I focus on other things. I do like to, I'll write jokes. If I'm in a new city, I'll write jokes about that city or my observations or whatever. But that's the only really topical thing I'll do.
So is that just walking around and taking it in by osmosis, or is that asking a local for a topical joke? Or
just walking around or even reading about the city before I go. Because I'm going to cities that I've never been in and I don't know anything about. So it is, I think, interesting just to see my observations from someone who's never been there before and the vibe of the city or the vibe of the people that I've met. And that's why I do crowd work too, because everybody's different in every city. So I got to get to know what they're all about.
What do you do when you're not doing comedy? What are your other things?
I love movies. Like I'll just go watch movies. I love just being outside. Like I love camping and rock climbing and just hanging out with family. I don't know. I'm pretty boring.
Rock climbing's not boring. That's awesome. I tried doing indoor and I discovered I have this terrible fear of heights. I was like, I did it exactly once. I'm hitting the rope and I'm like, doop-de-doop. And all of a sudden I had that innate response. Oh my God, I'm 40 feet up. Get me out of here. I never knew I had this fear.
It's scary. Even like when you're used to it, the heights are still scary because if something goes wrong, it's over. But I think that's why it's exciting too. It's like that adrenaline rush that I guess it's similar to comedy that makes your heart beat a little bit faster. So
how does one do it? Do you need an organized crew? I assume you need at least a buddy, right? You're not going out there yourself and climbing, or?
Yeah, you have buddies, climbing buddies. They're pretty easy to find. It got like really popular. So now the gyms are like way too crowded in LA, especially.
Do you have any other projects coming up that we should know about other than the album?
After the album, I filmed a special which has some of the chunks from the album, but a lot of new stuff too. I'm editing that now with the director, and I'm not sure when it'll be out, but that's something that's coming up. And I'm filming another Don't Tell taping next week, so that'll be coming out too at some point. So I have, a lot of content coming out, which hopefully people will like.
I'm scrolling through my notes here. One thing that cracked me up when I was doing the prep, I don't know how often you Google yourself or not. Are you familiar with this other Emily in Pittsburgh that reviews food?
Yeah, actually, I'm working on a joke about that.
See, I was going to come at it with, you could wreck her life if you wanted to just by posting videos, but oh, that's hilarious.
No,
Right. I won't, I don't want to ruin your joke.
I feel like she probably has heard of me, but I don't know. Because I get a lot of messages there are a lot of Emily Catalanos out there. So I'll get messages or DMs like, hey, nice name or something like that. But yeah, she's the one who I'm the most familiar with because I set up like a Google alert for my name.
Sure.
And it's only her. I don't get any press. It's always her. So that's what
start doing a killer 10 minutes about Pittsburgh.
I know. I've never even been to Pittsburgh, but I would like to go.
It's a great city.
And then I'll invite her. She could take me to her favorite food spots.
Thank you for your time today. Best of luck with the album and looking forward to the upcoming special.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
If you would like this program commercial free, in the show notes, it says calaroga.supportingcast.fm. You're going to go to that URL for $4.99 a month. You'll get this program ad-free and a bunch of the others on the network also ad-free. So do that, and I'll be back tomorrow with a normal episode. See you then.